Hello, I bring you greetings this new week. Welcome to the Signature Podcast. I am Elijah Elvis Kraftzmann and I am your host for the Signature Podcast. I'm super excited to be back on your screen if you're watching on YouTube and if you're listening to me on all audio platforms. Thank you for always tuning in to listen to my voice. I want to be sure that you're finding value, so much value, and if you are, I want to hear your feedbacks. And thanks to every single person that have been reaching out to me with feedbacks, positive criticism, things that I need to do to improve on my contents, on my podcast, and on my style of presentation of my contents. I am super grateful. And for those who've been reaching out with the feedbacks of how impactful my message has been, since they started listening to the Signature Podcast, I'm super excited for you. And I can only wish to see your growth and your development, skyrocket to another level. All right. Thank you so much for always tuning in every single week. I'm super excited because this week is not going to leave you the same as it promises to be very impactful. Today, simply, I'd like to share and talk about how to build quality and sustainable social relationships. We are in a digital age where a lot of people have experienced some form of disconnect with their world in real time. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that a lot of us no longer are in touch with the real world, with the real people around us, we probably our family, our brothers and sisters, or our colleagues at the office, or, we no longer have social networks because of what the digital age has brought to us, the impact of technology on the human race. You go to the airport, at the waiting lobby, you see that people no longer connect physically. You just see people seated on the phones and no one is talking to each other. You could be on a 2-hour flight, and you'd be amazed that all through that journey, nobody is connecting with the next person sitting by the side. So how can you be seated with someone for 2 hours and maybe the only thing that looks like a communication or interaction between yourself and the person is just an exchange of pleasantries at the time that you guys, met? Now you sit through a journey for 2 hours and you don't know the name of the person seated by you. You don't know anything about them. Why? Why is that happening now? Because of course you don't care, right? You don't care because you're busy on your phone. You're just there typing, chatting, TikToking, whatever it is that you're doing with your phone. And you fail to realize that it is important to connect the person sitting right beside you because we are living in an interconnected world. And you'd be amazed how what's going to be the outcome of the relationship you're going to develop or you kickstart by just reaching out to that person. So it is important for us to address these issues so that we can intentionally not get caught up with technology, that we forget the place or the importance of developing quality networks, quality relationship with real people we can see and interact. We interact with people every day at our office, at our church, at a marketplace, at the shops, at the mall where we go to shop, but we realize that we just make contacts with them but don't connect with them. It is two different things. It is two different things. You can make contact with someone and not connect with them. So the essence of this episode of the Signature Podcast is to bring back the consciousness of not just making contacts with people, but connecting with them. And that is what I'm going to be sharing with us on this platform this very moment, right? Let me read for you because I prepared for my notes for this podcast, and I'm going to borrow a lot of things from what I wrote here so that we can be in check and I'll be able to deliver premium content to us. Now, I wrote it and said, in the hustle and in the bustle of modern life, amidst the distractions of technology and pressures of daily responsibilities, building quality and sustainable social relationship is both an art and a science. Now, drawing upon the wisdom of esteemed thought leaders, I would want us to delve into the intricacies of meaningful ways that we could foster connections that will stand the test of time. Because, like I said, you can make contact with people and not connect with them. Let me tell you a story. Last year, I was very keen and intentional about connecting with people, building quality networks. I attended a lot of events last year. I met with a lot of people. We exchanged cards. They gave me their cards. They gave me their contacts. And sometimes I as soon as I get home, I do a text message, I do a follow-up call and tell them, oh, it was great connecting with you. This was Elijah. This is Elijah that you met at the event. And I could attach a picture of mine so that they can put a face to the name. Now, I also realized that there were some days that I got back from those events, either because of, like I already mentioned, responsibilities, things that I needed to do. I got overwhelmed and never reached out to these people. You see, and months after, I've not made contact with them. I've not connected with them. I made contact with them at the first point when I met them at the event. But in order for me to connect with them, there is an intentional work that I needed to do, which was following up on them, letting them know how pleased I was by connecting with them, right? So now, this was what happened. As the year was wrapping up, I decided, it was intentional, it was conscious, that I was going to reach out to every single person I made contact with in 2023. And I pulled out my diary, I pulled out my pack of cards, and I started calling them. I started placing call across to them. I call them, I tell them, oh, hello, this is Elijah Elvis. We met at XYZ event. I'm sorry that we couldn't, that I've not followed up. I've not contacted you, but I said I was never going to let the year pass by until and all of that. And I was smart enough to take advantage of the fact that the year was ending to reach out to these people and let them know that I was intentional about not crossing over to the next year without being in touch with them. And it opened up their hearts to me. Yeah, it opened up their hearts to me, and they were like, oh, that's really thoughtful of you and all of that. And they saved my contacts, and a lot of them were still in touch today. So I brought this story up to because I want us to realize how important it is for us to follow up on the contacts we make. It is not enough to make contacts with people. We need to take it a step further to connect with them intentionally, and that requires a lot of work. So, but I want to take it slowly. I want to share some points with us, and I do hope that as you listen, you're going to find it valuable. The first point I'm going to make here is that you must cultivate authenticity. Now, this is very, very important. This is very, very crucial because, in a world where a lot of people are selfish, in a selfish or self-driven, not self-driven right now, in a self-absorbed world, a world that is self-centric, people in it self-centric, selfish, and think only about themselves, you should be wary of, how do I put this now, of relationships that are not authentic. Yourself too must be intentional about building authentic relationship with people. You're not going in there with a parasitic mentality, with a mentality to rip off from them, with a mentality to take from them, with a mentality to be an opportunist, take advantage of them. You should be going into strategic relationships because of the value exchange that's going to happen between the both of you. There has to be a transaction. There has to be an exchange of value that is flowing from you to them and from them to you. If it is one-sided, if it is what you stand to gain from that relationship, what you stand to get from that friendship, then you are not cultivating an authentic relationship. All right. So let me read what I have here. So at the heart of every enduring relationship lies authenticity. As Maya Angelou, acclaimed poet and civil rights activist, famously remarked, he said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So how authentic are you? How real are you? People want to connect with you. In a world where we try to create a perception that we want people to have about us and not the real us. Sometimes you can actually create a perception of how you want people to perceive you and not how you truly are. Do you know that? Do you know? Of course, You can create a perception, an idea that of how people perceive you that is not actually or truly who you are. So it is important for us to, understand the place of being our authentic selves, the place of being our real self, in order for us to attract quality relationships. Because when we become our real selves, we attract people who will accept us for who we are, who will meet us at where we are, not necessarily because, of course, if you're not authentic with yourself, and maybe, for instance, you're parading yourself as to be very rich and successful. You borrow cars, you take pictures and put it on the gram, and people think you're super wealthy. You go to restaurants, you go to hotels, and you take powerful shots and all of that. You're living all of those lives, but you're not being authentic to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people call it branding, all right? But there is nothing wrong with that. But the problem with this is that you will not attract people who will, connect with you genuinely. You will not attract people who will connect with you because of who you are. They will not connect with you because they have made contact with the real you. They are connecting with you based on the perception you have created of yourself. And the truth is, when they realize, because of course, there is no way you're going to be able to hide this truth for a very long time. You won't be able to hide this truth for a very long time. I don't know how long you want to keep up with that, but at some point on your journey of relating with them, they're going to discover and realize that this person is just as empty as an empty symbol, an empty drum, right? They're going to find out that you are not who you really, posite to be. You're not really who you claim to be, and when they realize this, what's going to happen to you at that moment? You lose them, because nobody wants to stay with somebody who is false or pretentious, somebody who is fake. All right, nobody wants to. We are intentional about the products we buy in the market. We want to buy the originals. We don't want to buy the fake. So, what makes you think that people, when they discover that you're fake, the fake version of yourself, want to say hang around you? So it is very important that you stay true to yourself, be the real you, interact with people. Don't just flatter people. That's another thing a lot of people do. They try to flatter you. They try to, make you feel good. Not because necessarily they love you, not because they love you, not because they are saying that genuinely from their heart. They leave you with exorbitant compliments because of what they will stand to gain from you. All right. But when you are truly authentic, both with your words, with your actions towards people, it's going to leave them with a great feeling. They can connect with it. For me, for instance, I'm not a psychologist, right? But I have this innate ability in me to be able to discern people. I can discern when someone is trying to be deceptive, when someone is trying to play smart, when I might play ignorant, but that doesn't mean that I do not know. So you see people who will come up with the flatter you, oh, my boss, my chairman, all of that. It's because of what they want to gain from you, not necessarily because you are their boss, because their loyalty is going to come to an end the moment the perception they have about you is no longer the perception they have about you. So it is important, be true to yourself. Let people, I'm not saying that you should, if you're still in a low level of life, that you should portray that people should see as one poor looking somebody who is struggling in life. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about you, showing for the real you. Let this thing, the real you, emerge. The real you that is bold, the real you that is confident, the real you that is true, the real you that is honest. You're not pretending, you're not living a pretentious life, you're living out the real you. But I don't know how to explain this for you to get it. Let the real you emerge. Do not be afraid to show the real you to the world. That is what makes you unique. You can't be the version of someone else. Other version has been taken. You've got to be you. Be the real you. Others have been taken. Don't try to be someone else. All right? Don't try to be someone else. Be the real you. Can you say to yourself this very moment, I will choose intentionally to be the real me. All right. So choose to be authentic with yourself, be true to yourself, stay true to yourself. All right. Authenticity is what breeds trust and intimacy, allowing individuals to show up as their true selves and forgo genuine connections, like I said to you. All right. So it is authenticity that will make you show your true self. And when people can perceive that this person is true, this person is honest, this person is authentic, they would want to trust you. They will entrust you with information. They will entrust you with resources. They will entrust you with ideas. They will entrust you with things unimaginable, because they can tell by their mere association with you that this person is genuine. All right. So you want to build a powerful, quality, and sustainable relationship in this era. Be authentic. There are not so many people out there who are authentic. And a lot of people out there are looking for people who are honest, who are authentic, who are genuine. And if you become that person, you're going to have a lot of quality people around you. All right. So another point I'd like to make is you must learn to practice empathy. If you want to develop or build quality relationships that are sustainable, you must learn empathy. This is something that when I begin to relate with people and I find them being a bit hard and lacking empathy, I like empathy, right? I relate with it. I have conscience, I have feelings, whether for myself or for others. So I like to relate with people who are empathetic. There's this particular friend that I have that each time we talk or interact, I just remind and say, can you just be empathetic for once? Because it is important for relationships. Like, how will it be just cold-hearted? You can't relate with people. You don't put yourself in their shoe to understand their pain, relate with their pain, and communicate with them from the place of their pain. It is important for relationships when people perceive that you can be reliable, to provide succor, to provide comfort to them, because probably of how you can relate or communicate with them from the place of their pain or pleasure. They're going to always want to have you around them. That is the truth. So don't play strong. Don't subjugate people's emotions. Don't play down on their feelings because maybe you always have a way to put yours under control. Relate with people, relate with their pain, relate with their joy, relate with their pleasure, relate with what they're going through. It is very important if you want to build quality relationships. Empathy is a cornerstone of compassionate relationships. Like I was saying already, I said I love to be compassionate, and I appreciate it when people extend compassion or empathy towards me. I really do appreciate it. All right. So as Brené Brown once said, he said, empathy is connection. It is a ladder out of the shame hole. Cultivate the ability to empathize with others, to understand their perspectives, and to validate their experiences. Don't tell people, as someone is telling you, oh, this is what I went through, or this is what I'm going through, and you're like, this small thing you are complaining. No, don't say that. We are at different levels of life, and we have different capacities. We have different ways of managing emotions. We have different responses. How we respond to life is different. Some people on the resilient threshold or spectrum are at the very lowest point. They don't have grit. They don't have resilience as much as you do. You probably have developed it over the years as a result of your experiences. Don't look down or downplay when people are going through certain challenges, probably because it doesn't look like what you've gone through yourself. Connect with them, empathize with them, connect to their experiences and tell them, oh wow, I can only imagine what you're going through right now. Like, I can just only imagine it. And I know how much this is impacting, your life right now. Connect with them genuinely. You are not trying to like, oh, Pele, sorry now. No, you're connecting with them. You're connecting with their pain. Even from the tone of your voice, you could feel the passion with which you're empathizing with them. If you're a Christian, if you have read the scriptures, you see how many times the scriptures makes us to know how Jesus Christ was moved with compassion when he saw people who are in the lowest points of their lives. He's always moved by compassion, and the next thing he's thinking is, how can I provide solution to this problem? And he goes on ahead to provide solutions to the problems. You must learn to be empathetic. Another thing you must learn to do, in order to build strong, quality and sustainable relationship, is you must learn to communicate effectively. I should dwell here. Communication is the fabric of every relation. Whatever relationship today that you're seeing that has lasted over a decade, and it is strong, it is sweet, it is blossoming and flourishing, just know that either the two parties involved are committed to effective communication, or at least one of them are committed to effective communication, right? Because if two persons do not agree over a certain matter, always misunderstanding each other, that relationship is going to go through a lot of friction until there is a breakdown. So you must learn to communicate effectively. You must learn the art of communication. These are not the era where you say, I have a blunt mouth. Some people say, I'm blunt in my words. I say it as it is. No, it is good to say the truth, but how you also communicate the truth is important. All right, it's very important. You don't damage people's self-esteem because you're trying to communicate the truth to them. You don't do that. You don't disvalue them. You don't devalue them. You don't talk down on them because you're trying to communicate something that you claim that is true. It is unrighteous thing to do. So even if you have to say the truth to your friends, to your brothers, your sister, or to whatever people you're in a relationship with, learn to communicate it rightly. And another thing I must address in this on this point of effective communication is learn to speak up. Learn to speak up. Stop assuming that the next person knows what you're going through. You don't suffer people. A lot of people make the people they are in a relationship with, to go through a lot. They go through a lot of strife. Oh God, you stress them, you wear them out because you want them to. You assume that they should know what you're going through per time. No. Learn to speak up. Open up. If they hurt you, if they offended you, if they did you wrong, whatever it is, learn to communicate with them. Learn to call them aside and say, see, look, this is what you did to me, and I do not like it. I do not appreciate that you talked to me the way you did. I do not appreciate that you called me out publicly and embarrassed me. Learn it. Don't leave, because when you don't speak up and talk about your hurts, your offenses, is going to develop or groom what is called strife and grief in your heart. And when you have grief in your heart or strife in your heart against someone else, there is going to come a time where it's going to blow up. There's going to be an outburst, and that outburst in that very moment can completely damage a relationship. It can completely damage it to the point that it cannot have remedy. So learn to always communicate how you feel per time, in relationship. Another thing I must make mention of in this effective communication is your ability to learn to listen. Some people are so what do I say about some people? They don't listen. They don't want to listen. They're very poor at listening. See, sometimes someone is talking to you and They just want to talk. They don't want your opinion. They just want to rant and just pour out themselves. Just give them a listening ear for crying out loud. When your friends are trying to say, this is what I'm going through, they are not saying it because they probably want a solution from you, or they want you to give them money, or they want you to give them. No, they're just trying to be vulnerable with you. Why not give them a safe space to be vulnerable, to pour out their heart, to empty the weight of the burden they are carrying in their hearts? Be a good listener. That also adds up to you being effective in communication. According to Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. All right. Not, I have a subordinate. I have a subordinate at the office, and when we started working together, we always had issues. And the issue we always sorry. Now, the reason we're always having issues is because, I'm trying to communicate to her and she's not getting me. All right. And she's trying to also get me to understand her. And I'm like, no, that's not a problem. You need to leave. But when I just had to step back a bit, in one of the occasions and say, you need to understand this person, right? And know how to deal with her and relate with her. You can't be having ongoing arguments and, with her. She's a subordinate, operate from a place of knowledge and superiority, right? So what I did was I observed her. I discovered the kind of person she is, understood her, her framework, the framework of her mind, how she reasons, how she thinks, her thought process. And I started dealing with her on that note. Guess what? We've never had any argument after that. So seek to understand, then to be understood. Because if you're like, you must understand what I am saying, a lot of people are like, you must understand what I am saying. Oh no, you are not understanding me. Why is it, So seek to understand, just be humble, just keep aside everything and try to listen to them, gain their own perspective, observe to know how they think, their processes, their mental processes, their thought processes, their perception about, whatever subject you're having. And then from their point, or from their own point of knowledge or understanding, you can now build on it. And if you move that way with them, understanding what they're saying and build from that, you can now drive them into understanding your own point. It is important. Effective communication is very, very important. It's a tool that you need for strong and quality or long-lasting relationships, okay? So always strive to have open, honest communication, because it fosters trust, resolves conflicts, and strengthens connections. A lot of people are in disharmony. They've lost touch of friendships that could have lasted till eternity because of poor communication. Learn to communicate effectively. I'm really, really running out of time and I have a lot of points to make. All right, number 4 point I have to say is that you must invest time and attention. Quality relationships require time, attention, and nurturing. Now, this is very key. You cannot want to build quality relationship, right? You cannot want to build quality relationship and you don't want to invest time and attention to it. You're not serious. You're not serious. If you want to develop quality relationship, whether it is with your boss, whether it is with your partner, your significant other, if you're in a relationship, or whatever it is, situationship, whatever, but sorry, whatever it is, whatever kind of relationship, you must invest time. You must invest attention. Now, I know you were asking, how will I invest time and attention when I'm relating with my boss? Pay attention to details. Pay attention. You must invest time and attention. Understand what he likes. Understand. I don't want to say this. There's something I wanted to say, about, but I'm not going to say it. But when you pay attention even to your superiors, maybe at the office, take notice of when they are not at the office, take notice of their mood or their countenance, and maybe reach out to them and say, sir, I noticed that it's every. You don't know how far that could go. I am whispering now because this is a secret. It's a secret tip. You know, reach out to them. If you can't call them, leave them a message. Sir, I noticed that you were not at work today. Are you okay? You can't ask, are you okay? Reach out to them and say, sir, I noticed you're not at the office today. I trust you're doing well. I thought to check in on you. Do have a good evening, or do have a, that message can go a long way to open up their heart towards you. I tell you the truth. Try it, you see, it's going to work. So if you want to develop quality relations that are sustainable, you must learn the art of investing time and attention to that relationship. It is very important. All right. It's very important. Gary Chapman said, in his book, The 5 Love Languages, that love is something you do for someone else, not something you do for yourself. So whatever it is you're doing, as long as it has to do with love, you're not doing it for yourself. Don't stop. Even Jesus Christ, he had to die for us because he loved us. Not for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So love compels us to live our lives for others. It's not for us. So stop having the mindset of reciprocity whenever you're whenever you're doing stuff for other people. Live a life of self-sacrifice, a life that you're not doing it because of course there is a reward, but not necessarily because of what you stand to gain. Let your relationship with people be genuine. Let it be built on a genuine platform, on a mutual understanding. Sometimes when I reach out to people and I'm saying, I'd like to connect with you, I categorically mention in those messages or in those emails that I want to develop a mutually beneficial relationship with you. So it means that I can be of value to you. You can be of value to me. I am not in it because of what I want to gain from you. Sometimes it could just be one way. Sometimes it could be the other way. Sometimes it could be both ways. But don't push the narrative that you just are in this for what you stand to gain from it. All right. So if you are loving, love because it is for others and not for you. Because if you're doing it because it is for you, you're going to get tired and frustrated when you're not seeing the immediate result. And sometimes where you sow the seeds of love might not be where you reap the harvest. You need to be very, very aware of this. So invest in relationship and it will flourish. Okay. Okay, I have 5 minutes to round this off. Foster mutual respect. I love respect. I like to be respected, and I respect whoever that I'm having any dealings with. I don't like throwing tantrums on people. I don't like it. Like what I'm talking about right now is there is these people that make jest of people. In Nigerian parlance, it's called yabbing. People yab people, right? Like it's not necessarily mockery, but yeah, they mock you, but they mock you jokingly, right? I don't like all of those really, because it's a disrespect on the other person. Why will I come to where people are gathering and I'll just tell you, see your big head like coconut? I don't like that, and I don't like when it's done to me. So I actually avoid situations like that. I try to have self-respect. In order for you to attract respect to you, you must respect yourself. You must show you must prove to others that you value and respect yourself, and they will communicate to you exactly the way you communicate to yourself or with yourself. So learn to respect yourself, learn to have value for yourself. That way you're going to be able to attract respect and value from others. And if you truly respect and value yourself, you will truly respect and value others. You won't insult people, you won't disrespect people. You always show forth respect and value, either for their time or for their things or for their relationship with you. All right. So according to Mahatma Gandhi, he said that a relationship is based on mutual respect, love, trust, and kindness. So treat others with dignity and honor their boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself and also honor their boundaries. Don't break their boundaries. When they tell you, I don't like when you do this to me, respect it. Don't feel, no, the person is trying to communicate to you what he doesn't like or what she doesn't like. Respect it. Don't make jest of, oh, a lot of people don't have respect. I am wary of people who lack respect. It tires me out. And I don't like to relate with those kind of people. So imagine me being a person of value, not wanting to relate with you because I noticed that you lack respect. You don't have respect for people. You have lost a great deal. All right. So in order for you to keep someone like me in your circle, or in order for you to develop a relationship with me, it means that you have to be somebody that is respectful in order for you to have me around. So you lose out on a relationship that could be forever, that could last for a lifetime with me because you don't have the virtue of respect. So it is important if you want to develop a long-lasting relationship. So cultivate a culture of mutual respect and you watch your relationship thrive. Another thing I like to share, okay. Another thing I wanted to be sure that I was getting a call, so I wanted to be sure that I'm still recording. Another thing that you need to develop quality relationship is that you must learn to navigate conflict with grace. This area, when there is, in Nigerian parlance again, bus boost. Some people say, when you give me bus, I give you boost. So don't have that kind of mindset. When there is an issue, seek to resolve them with grace. Don't engage in warfare with your words. Don't throw banters. Don't, no, 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 no. Approach every situation with grace. As John Gottman said, in a good relationship, people get angry, but in a very different way. So your approach with conflict matters. Approach conflict with empathy, with humility, and a willingness to understand the other person's perspective. So if the fact that you're in a relationship with someone does not mean that you're not going to have issues, you're not going to get angry. But what makes that relationship good is that you address or approach that conflict or that issue differently. You don't want to kill them. You don't want to uh, 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 how do I put this? You're not there to kill them or to destroy the relationship you have with them or demolish what you've built over the years with that person. But you seek to know, why did you do this to me? Why did you lie to me? Why did it's coming from a place of humility. It's coming from a place, I truly am upset. I don't like that you lied to me. It breaks my heart. Can I trust you? All of that, you're coming from a place of humility, you're coming from a place of empathy. How would you feel if I treated you this way? That's a powerful question. That's a powerful question to ask. In times of conflict with your friend, ask them, how would you feel if I treated you the way you treated me? This goes to tell you how hot I am. When you sound this way, you break them. Unless that person is a devil, is a Satan. Unless that person is just evil. But when you approach issues like that with empathy, with humility, seeking to understand their own perspective, you have a wonderful relationship that will thrive. All right. So another thing that I must mention, because I'm running out of time, I have only 1 minute to conclude this, is that you must prioritize self-care. It is very important to self-care is not selfishness. Self-care is you setting boundaries. Let people not knowing where people's boundaries stop, whether it's in your life. It's essential for nurturing healthy relationship. Audre Lorde, a poet and civil rights activist, reminds us that caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. So prioritize your physical, emotional, spiritual, financial well-being or mental well-being. Set boundaries where, in fact, when you set your boundaries, be firm on setting your boundaries and engage in activities that rejuvenate you. Because sometimes your social battery could go down. You don't just want to talk to anybody, you just want to isolate yourself and be fine. If you have to do that so that nobody is going to evoke you into anger or, get you irritated and all of that. And then maybe you unleash on them like a lion that is going after their prey. So learn to separate yourself, and regain your mental energy or your social battery, recharge yourself, rejuvenate, and then come back, so that you don't pour out fury and anger on people in your life. I want to believe that you found so much value, listening to me on this episode of the Signature Podcast. If you do, kindly hit the share button, share this podcast, let others listen to it and gain valuable insights on how they can build quality and sustainable relationships in this digital age and time. Once again, thank you for listening to me. I remain Elijah Elvis Kraftzmann, the host for the Signature Podcast. I wish you a beautiful week ahead of you. Ciao.